I don't care. He looks much better than that, Don.
Yeah, I don't think Howard's quite that fat, but his mouth's bigger.
Big Wally. That can only mean Wally Schwartz, president of ABC Television.
That ought to secure your job for at least one more year, Howard.
If it does, you've got a scoop.
Underway, the second half. Jim Turner kicking deep. It goes to Bob Hudson, who will run it out. And Hudson nailed by Maurice Taylor, who got down there quickly. 19-yard return. So Oakland leading 13-7. Takes over 1st and 10. Kenny Stabler going all the way at quarterback. He's won the last 2 games for them. The setbacks will be number 23, Charlie Smith, number 44, Marv Hubbard. The wide receivers, number 25, Fred Biletnikoff, who's gone over 6,000 yards tonight, and Mike Siani, number 49. They move 1st and 10 from their own 17-yard line. Charlie Smith trying the left side, getting about 3. Bill Thompson coming up to make the stop. Thompson, 36. Randy Montgomery, 21. Charlie Greer, 20. Calvin Jones, 26. The secondary for Denver. The offensive line, Jim Otto, who played in his 188th consecutive game at center. He started every one of those games, by the way. He's 00, flanked by 64, George Beeler, 63, Gene Upshaw. Second down, we'll call it 8. The ball at the 19-yard line. Getting the call, Charlie Smith. Maybe he got back to the line of scrimmage. Bill Lasky, number 45, a former Oakland Raider. In on the stop. Lasky, 45. Tom Graham, 58. Ray May, 56. The linebacking core for the Denver Broncos.
Excuse me, Frank. It was mentioned earlier about this hand-holding routine of the Denver Broncos, and what are they doing out there? We understand that it was instigated by Ray May when he arrived at this ball club in an attempt to solidify this defense. Ray is, I suppose, the recognized leader of that defensive unit. Ray May.
On 3rd down and 7.
Whoop, look out.
Looking for Siani, and Stabler nailed by Paul Smith.
Hey, that Smith's playing a good ball game, Frank.
That he has.
Left tackle, there he is, number 70. He liked that too, as did the fans here in Denver.
I'll tell you, it's a team that does not give up. We told you they were behind at one point, 20-10 last week against Houston.
Just threw out some of that confetti that they've been throwing at Dandy Dunn.
Bill Thompson, who went 80 yards on a fumble recovery to get Denver's only touchdown, has dropped deep to accept the punt of Ray Guy, the number 1 punter in the AFC coming into tonight's game. The number 1 draft pick out of Southern Mississippi. He once kicked a ball 93 yards.
Whoa!
Oh, and did they hit him? They did not.
Good kick, Frank.
Thompson, well, he may have had time, but he called for a fair catch on a 49-yard punt. Thompson calling for the fair catch at his own 41.
A lot of pressure and still a real good kick. 60 yards he kicked that ball.
Offensively, now, as we look again at Guy, you'll see this pressure that Don mentioned a moment ago.
He's in the end zone right from that goal line. He kicks it. You see they were very close to blocking that kick, and that ball comes out on Denver's 42. Let's round it off to 60.
1st and 10 for the Broncos. Charlie Johnson, a quarterback. He's number 12. 44, Floyd Little. Joe Dawkins, 33. 84, Gene Washington is in. And here comes Floyd Little. Little driving hard. He's over the 45 to the 47. Stopped by number 41, Phil Villapiano. Defensively for the Oakland Raiders, as we watch Dan Connors, number 55, he's at the middle linebacker spot, and he took a good shot from offensive right tackle Mike Curran. The other linebackers, Villapiano, who made the stop, Gerald Irons, 86. Klein, Toms, Sistrunk, and Smith are the defensive front 4. The second down, a long 4. The ball at the 47. The toss goes out to Dawkins, and he's upset.
Nehemiah Wilson again came up from that defensive cornerback. He's a good one. He turns that run in. That time if you don't turn it in, you make the tackle. That's why you get good penetration by that cornerback, and he's doing that real well. Did 3 or 4 times earlier in the ball game. Came up from that left cornerback, turned it in. That time he did make the tackle for a loss.
And had good help from Sistrunk, who came over very swiftly. Otis is having a good game, despite your basic predilections against him.
It was not that at all. It was your predilections and the misinterpretation of somewhat of a savoir faire trade by your friend Al Davis.
3rd down and 5. The ball at the 46.
understands.
Charlie Johnson moving Haven Moses out to the right a little further. Reverse to Floyd.
I like it. And they got open.
Set up.
Oh, what a good move.
Great play by Art Thomas.
Boy, he did, Frank, because that thing could have gone for 20 or 30 yards. Art Thomas came back out of that defensive line. That one was set up very nicely.
And look, Floyd Little on this play, Don, picked up his yardage to go over 5,000 yards. He's at 5,005, and he also got the first down. Floyd Little, who led all of the NFL in 1971 in rushing. Last year, another good year, 859 yards. And as we have talked about earlier, a very special young man. He spends most of his life working with kids here in Denver. He says he's never met a bad one. And he has meant so much to youngsters here in Denver, Colorado.
To play, too, Frank. 5'10" out of Syracuse. They said he's too small for the pros.
And he puts the ball in Oakland territory at the 48. Charlie Johnson going to Odoms. He's wide open.
Oh, that was, really pretty. Hey, a good fake set that thing up. You saw a little razzmatazz in the backfield there. That time he faked with Joe Dawkins coming across. I think it held those linebackers, enabled him to go over them. And he found Riley Odoms wide open downfield. That's going to set up a good position.
Inside the 20 at the 19. And Riley Odoms has done a fine job replacing Billy Masters.
Look at this
Howard.
fake here, Frank. You see Dawkins come across. Here's Klein, number 84. He's ready after Johnson, and he gives him a pretty good shot. But that ball was already gone, and he found Odoms behind those linebackers. First down now on the 19.
Okay, Riley Odoms, who replaced Billy Masters. Ordinarily, the tight end for Denver, has done a good job for them in the last couple of games. Charlie Johnson's going to keep it in the air. He looks for Haven Moses. He's covered well by Nehemiah Wilson.
That was a no chance. He
Yeah,
had him well covered.
That. But I do like Riley Odoms, the #1 draft choice of the Denver Broncos a year ago out of the University of Houston. I had the feeling at the time he might have been the very best player in the draft a year ago. He's a big lad. He's an extraordinary athlete. Good speed. If there's a rap against him, he hasn't quite yet become the blocker they expected him to become. And, of course, playing the tight end position, blocking is the keynote ingredient. However, he has a capacity for getting free, as he did on that first down pass from Charlie Johnson. Frank?
On 2nd down and 10 from the 19. Denver moving. They trail 13-7. 10:03 remaining in the third quarter. Charlie Johnson obviously has chosen to go to the air. Double reverse, this time to Bob Anderson. He can throw. He used to be a quarterback.
And he's got him. Oh, he dropped it. Well, oh, man.
Riley Odoms, and just after the big buildup.
Oh, Riley.
Just after, and he was free.
Howard, he did that to you personally.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame him for that. But, you know, Bobby Anderson's a local favorite here. Number 11, they sent him in. Here's the guy that throws it. Another little razzmatazz here. Open that thing up. Here's Odoms coming through. He is wide open.
I'll tell you.
And did hit him in a bad spot.
Bob Anderson, I mentioned, was a quarterback for 2 years at the University of Colorado. Switched to halfback and made All-American.
It was a Woody Allen movie not too long ago. He was a guard at an insane asylum along with Willie Brown. Yeah.
3rd down and 10 from the 19.
I'll get to it.
Quickly to Odoms over the middle. He'll be short of the first down. Or will he?
I don't know. It's a good effort to get that first down. I think he is going to be a little bit short, though, Frank.
He had to get to the 9.
One of the things that happened to Lou Saban here when he was the head coach was in a ball game against Miami. We'll take a look at it on replay, see what happens. But they had a tie ball game. These Denver fans, they come out here, they support them, as we've mentioned all along. They want a winner. In the latter part of the ball game, this thing was tied up. Saban decided to go for a tie. His quote after the game was, I'd rather have half a loaf than no loaf at all. They have some very avid fans in the left south end of this thing. They throw a half a loaf out there. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for a first down. Let's see what
That's
they're going to
exactly
do.
what they're going to do. Charlie Johnson came over and said to John Ralston, we have this much to go. He held up his hands.
That's right.
And John Ralston said, go get it.
I like it.
I like Ralston as a coach.
I like it.
Two consecutive Rose Bowl upsets, you'll remember, over Michigan and Ohio State with Stanford.
I'd forgotten that, and I'm glad you brought it out.
4th down. Might be the big play of the season for the Denver Broncos.
It's up amongst them.
Little. Oh, boy. Big hole.
Boy.
Right behind Mike Curran.
You folks at home got to admit that this Denver Broncos team, which you haven't seen that often on a full television network, has a versatile offense. They've got a lot of plays. They're intelligently directed. There you're looking at that plunge again through the big hole created by Mike Curran, as described by Frank Gifford, who now resumes with the action.
And first down and goal. The ball's at the 7. I like this man, Charlie Johnson. He has been some kind of player for many years. Little. Oh, banging all the way to the 2. Tatum made the stop.
He runs that slant beautifully, Don. Runs it beautifully.
Yeah.
Loads out of
Had
it.
some good help that time from his offensive line, too,
That's
because
right.
that whole group, the right guard, Tommy Lyons, was in there, and he opened that thing up to good shape for him. And, of course, you do have Bobby Maples at center.
Boy, they're going crazy here in Denver.
That's not a bad place to go crazy if you got to go.
Just inside the 2-yard line. 2nd down.
Yep, confetti is being poured down on the stadium.
Carly calls for quiet. He gets it from the partisan crowd. Little again, this time. Maybe to the 1. A flag goes down at the line of scrimmage. Against Oakland, I believe.
Yeah, that's going to help. I don't know. You never do know what the offensive game plan is particularly, but Bubba Smith, number 77, a guy we haven't talked about much tonight. You see him there on the ground. He is the defensive left end for the Oakland Raiders. Bubba, I don't think there's any question about his potential or his ability as a football player. He has suffered a knee injury last year, kind of a freak injury. A lot of people feel that he has not been as effective this year as he has been in the past. Maybe he is a little slow coming off that knee, but I'll say this, when he's well, there's nobody better. Maybe he is still a little bit hobbled.
All right. The penalty declined naturally by Denver. The penalty, a 5-yard penalty, was half the distance to the goal. The ball is marked inside the 1. The down remains the same. Or rather, they took the penalty. The down remains the same. Little again.
Another flag.
Another flag.
Well, there's offsides against Oakland again. A touchdown for Denver.
Oakland again offside. Little scores. Denver is a conversion away from going out in front of Oakland.
Super flight as the signs go up and the faces of the fans speak for themselves, and there's the confetti we've been talking about. This town has really welcomed Monday Night Football. This team is fired up. They're a long way from winning this football game. Oakland, notoriously, is an exceptional second-half team, particularly last-quarter team. But they're giving us some football game in Denver tonight.
And that super block you saw by number 60 was Paul Howard, clearing the way for Floyd Little. Jim Turner on for the conversion. The go-ahead point. Wait a minute.
It did just bounce over.
Good. Wow, his
191 in a row, Giff.
His 191st consecutive conversion, and it just about did not make it. Denver has gone out in front of Oakland 14-13.
They call time, Tribble, listen. Oh, hi, Mr. Dunny. Like my new sweetheart? GE Portacolor TV. What a buy. And it's 80% brighter this year. How? They improve what they call the inline picture tube. Right, pal? This baby's one great performer. And for under $225. GE means value for your money.
General Electric Television, the great entertainer.
Once I hurt my knee trying to make a tackle that a lot of people thought I shouldn't have been trying to make. Well, let me tell you, if you put that uniform on, you're supposed to be a football player, and you've got to be ready to go all the way. That's just the way I am. I guess that's why I use Brute. I like the smell. I like the way it works, the way it lasts.
Brute by Fabergé. After the game, after anything, Brute goes all the way.
If you're not going to go all the way, man, I mean, why go at all?
Signs all over the Mile High Stadium. We've just been informed that Phil Villapiano was the man who was offsides on both of those plays. Not that it seemed to make a whole lot of difference.
He is aggressive.
Clarence Davis on your left. Number 28 on your right, Bob Hudson. Clarence Davis came into this game leading the American Football Conference in kickoff returns with a 31.6 average. Young man from USC can really fly. Notre Dame and USC, of course, coming up Saturday. This will be Hudson. They don't like to kick it to Davis. Hudson out over the 20 to the 21. Nailed there by Jim O'Malley. There he is, our little man, and he is some kind of football player, and as we have been talking all night, some kind of person.
He had a pretty good quote, Frank. He was talking about being so bow-legged and 5'10". He says, there's a reason for everything. So if you straighten him out, I'll be 6'3", they make me play tight end.
All right, Oakland takes over. They trail now, shockingly probably for them, 14 to 13. These two teams split last year. Oakland won here, Denver won in Oakland. Oakland will move from their own 21-yard line. This is Stabler. Gets a good block. Protection. Gets it off to Biletnikoff.
Well,
Biletnikoff has the first down to the 35.
He did the same thing again, Frank. Stabler was pretty well pressured. He says, Arrow, my back's pinching. He got a pretty good lick, but again, Biletnikoff went downfield. When you turn back in, when you work on these pass patterns for timing, you expect that ball just as you turn in. If it's not there, again, the really good receivers start moving back in toward that quarterback to cut down the distance that he has to throw. He did the same thing that time, picked up a first down.
Biletnikoff now 5 receptions, 73 yards. First and 10 Oakland. They move from their own 35.
Uh-oh.
Marv Hubbard, he bobbles the ball. What's happened to it?
I don't know. It's Denver. And the orange-clad crowd of Denver goes wild.
Marv Hubbard never had control. And he really got popped. And Denver takes over. Good field position. They'll be on the 43-yard line of Oakland. And Don, as you like to say, momentum.
Momentum is a fickle friend of ours. Let's look at it. Looks to me to be a pretty clear handoff for some reason right there.
Chavis, I believe, was the man who...
I don't know what it is. Maybe Ray May, number 56, stuck a hand in there, Frank, but for some reason the ball popped up. Hubbard can't get control. Let's see if we can see who picks it up, and by golly, I can't. But I know Denver's got it.
And they have it on the 43.5-yard line of Oakland. They lead 14 to 13. Floyd Little. And the little man gets about 4, moving inside the 40-yard line.
Boy, does he accelerate quickly. I think it was Chavis who wound up with that fumble, Don. But your momentum has sure switched. That was a critical play from the Denver point of view because Oakland wanted desperately to mount a drive and quickly recapture the lead.
Again, you see Little following Laren Jackson there, who's doing a heck of a job at that left guard. These guys are running that ball pretty well tonight.
That he is. He just came back last week from an knee injury. He's doing a fine job leading Floyd Little tonight. Second down of 6. The ball just inside the 40. 6:16 remaining in the third quarter. Little tripped up. Gets about a yard. So Charlie Johnson will be looking over a passing situation. There's a man, Barney Chavis, who's played good football tonight. He probably helped jar that ball loose with Ray May a moment ago, and then he recovered it.
On that last play, you saw another inside handoff, and it appeared to me that Otis Sistrunk, number 60, pretty well worked over Tommy Lyons, number 61, because he met him. There was no movement. Lyons and Sistrunk were kind of in the way, so it stopped it for no gain. Good defensive play by Sistrunk.
On third down and 5, the passing down out to the right is Simmons, number 80, 25, Haven Moses in the slot. Little gets the call, and out in front of it again is Jackson. Good block by Laren, and Gerald Irons forcing Floyd Little out, I believe, short of the first down.
And as Jack Parr would put it, here's one of Howard's close friends, Jim Turner, who now comes onto the field.
Jimmy can make this one. It's not going to be too far for him.
You didn't have dinner with him last night, though, did you?
No. Unfortunately, I was saddled with you. At
You
least prior to dinner.
You were not saddled with me. I
Prior to dinner.
made it a great point to lose you last night.
Can we pause right now for 5 seconds? This program is being brought to you as a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Let's pause those 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. The kick will come from 43 yards out by Jim Turner. Plenty of distance.
See what I mean, Dan DeRue?
What do you mean, see what I mean, Dan DeRue?
Told you that's his distance.
Oh, okay, 43 yards.
Denver extends their lead over Oakland to 17-13. 43-yard field goal by Jim Turner. We'll be back in Denver right after this.
Hello, I'm Hugh Downs, and I'm here to pass along a very strong opinion of the 1974 Ford LTD. The Ford Motor Company thinks that the workmanship in this car can stand up to the closest kind of inspection. But what do you look for in a well-built automobile? Well, experts say you should look for things like straight door seams, and even space where the trunk and hood join the body. Now, those are just 2 of the many inspections outlined in this booklet that tells you what to look for in a well-made car. And you can pick up a copy now at your Ford dealer. Obviously, Ford thinks this car can stand up to a close examination from people who know what to look at. If you're thinking about buying a new car, think about that. Everyone says compare. Ford and your Ford dealer are telling you how.
The quiet Ford. The closer you look, the better we look.
Here in Denver, we look at a beautiful young lady, and the Oakland Raiders are trying a little strategy. Denver doesn't want to kick to Clarence Davis, so he and Hudson have just switched positions. And this time, Davis is on the left. He gets the ball. A flag goes down. I think somebody popped the kicker. And Clarence Davis goes down at the 17, but again, a flag is down. Way back upfield. I think somebody might have unloaded on Jim Turner. I don't know, but a flag is down.
Might have been offsides, too, Frank. That thing is back up there. I see
Offsides,
Turner coming back
open.
up. It appears that, at least by Turner's actions, that his club was offside. But we'll wait and see.
Oakland. Now the debate goes on down the field. We'll wait to get the official call. Offsides. Decline.
Must have been by
And
Oakland.
the
then.
reason it was decline, of course, it was good coverage by the special team. They have Oakland all the way down on the 18-yard line.
Myral Moore is the coach for the special teams of Denver and takes a great deal of pride in that group. They've had very good success this year.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Oakland Raiders. Moving from their 18, Marv Hubbard. Ray May is chasing. And finally, Charles Greer, number 20, drives Hubbard out of bounds.
The identical play that he fumbled on the play before, so they run them back to back. That time picked up the yardage and held on to it. Let's watch it this time. Here's Ray May, and for some reason, Ray didn't see it coming, or if he did, he didn't react quick enough because he just ran right on the outside of it. It was the same thing that they ran a while ago, almost picked up the first down.
Hubbard gets 8 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 2. The ball just over the 25 of Oakland. 5:04 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Stabler looking out to Blitnikoff. He comes back again. Gets it as Randy Montgomery. Gets a handful of his jersey, and Blitnikoff goes down. But he has the first down. He's out to the 32-yard line.
You have to marvel at that man through all he is. Earlier, Frank, I mentioned Oakland's comeback capacity as a last quarter team and a second half team. 2 years ago, you'll remember, they exploded for 20 points in the final quarter to beat Cleveland on Monday Night Football, 34-20. They came back after trailing the Jets at halftime last year to win. So we've seen them do it. But this year, their offense has not generated at all.
Okay, Oakland, 1st and 10 from their 33. The big fullback, Marv Hubbard, gets the call. Gets a good block, and he skips over the 40 to the 42. Calvin Jones made the stop along with help with Ray May. 9-yard pickup. It'll be Second down and 1. See the award-winning true story of a teenage girl caught in a vicious web of drug addiction in Go Ask Alice, the Wednesday movie of the week, Wednesday night at 8:30, 7:30 Central, right here on ABC.
And don't forget, fellas, next Monday night, another first on Monday Night Football. The first game ever from Buffalo in the great new stadium there, and number 32, O.J. Simpson.
Pete Banaszak is in the lineup for the Raiders, number 40. Faber on a second down and 1 is rushed. Gets rid of it in the general direction of Charlie Smith, but he was under great pressure from the blitzing middle linebacker, number 58, Tom Graham. So Denver, a team that, well, we told you earlier, defensively they were 10th in the 13-team conference. They really put on quite a show tonight. A lot of names you probably haven't heard much about.
And going back to that next Monday night game, Buffalo, should Denver hold on to its lead and win tonight, well, Kansas City will be in first place, and Buffalo still very much alive in its division. And Kansas City is the opponent next Monday.
Third down and 1. Hubbard gets the call. He gets the first down, and he drags the tackler to midfield. Number 20, Charlie Greer, coming up to make the stop. And now again, Oakland maintaining their poise, doing what they do so well. Ball resting just short of midfield. Oakland now relying on their ball control. Stabler, as you see, good night.
I'd say so.
But they trail 17-13, does Oakland. Again, Biletnikoff coming back. And Biletnikoff is all the way to the 35 of Denver. 15-yard pickup.
Don't you just love the way he catches that football, Dandy? That was almost like a center fielder picking off a baseball. Those hands right out there. So sure, so firm.
I can say I'm terribly fond of it, yes. You'll see again Biletnikoff coming back a good 5 yards. That defensive back or linebacker that is going back to cover Biletnikoff, his number one thought is to keep him from going deep. So he's going back as fast as he can. When Biletnikoff stops, and then that's a hard name to say. You were right. He does come back like a center fielder. That's right.
Oakland moving, 2:13 remaining in the third quarter. Cliff Branch is checked in, number 21. Stabler likes to go deep to him. Now he'll run. Stabler hurdling one tackler over the 25 to the 22-yard line. Another first down.
Tommy Graham's claiming he got possession of the football, but of course the officials ruling it having been down. So Oakland, as Frank said, is held together, kept its impeccability of poise.
And they trailed early in the game. Thompson scored on an 80-yard run, recovery of a fumble. Blanda hit on a 35 field goal. Then Ciani came back to put Oakland out in front, 10-7. An 80-yard touchdown pass from Stabler. Blanda another field goal. Little scored from 1 yard out. Turner hit on a field goal, and as we watch Charlie Smith go off the right side, the score is Denver 17, Oakland 13. Gain of 6.
Chavis saved that one. Frankie came from his defensive end position down the middle because there was a clear hole in the middle that time. As you see the time taken away with a little more than a minute.
The Oakland offensive line has come alive, but the interesting thing about Oakland this year, their offense has been great between the 20s. Once inside the 20, they've perished. Let's see if this time they can make it work.
Second down and 4 from the 16.
That's perishability right there.
Cliff Branch, did he get it? Yes, he did.
Just perished. Now throw it down, Cliff. Now do a little dance for us. Run it back. I don't much like that throwing down, I guess.
Touchdown, Cliff Branch, beating Randy Montgomery in the corner, and a very fine pass by Kenny Stabler.
It was a pass, Frank, that was really where it should have been. A little bit underthrown, I think. Let's take a look at it. You'll see he came back for it. He didn't look at it. Branch did make a good move. We missed his little Dickie-Doo dance and spike in the end zone.
What dance?
Dickie-Doo. Did you ever go fishing on a hot summer day and sit on the banks and watch the little fishes play? Hands in your pockets in your pants. Watch little fingers do Dickie-Doo dance.
George Blanda, the conversion.
I quit.
And Oakland recaptures the lead, 20-17.
Did you memorize those lines, Frank?
I have them all down. Beautiful shot as Cliff Branch puts the Oakland Raiders back out in front. 44 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
If you've left your lights on for hours on end, there's a battery that's music to your ears. The Sears Diehard, with extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. Sold only at Sears.
What should shock absorbers do? Absorb shocks. That's why we put Sears Steady Riders on these stunt cars. They're the shocks built for comfort, control, and a steady ride on any road in any weather. Ask Joey Chitwood.
Steady Rider? They named it right.
The Steady Rider. Sold only at Sears.
Denver set to receive the kick of Ray Guy. You're looking at number 33, Joe Dawkins, with a 25-yard average thus far in the season. He's back along with number 24, Otis Armstrong. Armstrong, 24. Great prospect, great future for this young man. He was the number 1 draft pick. Holds just about every Big Ten rushing record there is. Certainly all of those at Purdue. Great future for this young man, the number 1 draft pick of the Oakland Raiders, Ray Guy. Leading the league in punting, and he has just ripped one, which will probably go out of the end zone. Indeed it does. Otis Armstrong fields the ball, but with 1 foot out of the end zone, it'll be touched back, and Denver now will go to catch-up football. They trail 20-17. George Atkinson, by the way, was injured. He is not going to play again tonight. He was dazed from a blow to the head, we've been told.
That'll daze you.
And coming in, replacing Atkins, is Alonzo Thomas, number 26, the left cornerback. All right, Charlie Johnson, a 13-year veteran. He's been in a lot of spots when he's been behind. Looking for that gap in the zone, couldn't find it, threw it away. Going for Haven Moses.
I don't blame Charlie Johnson for that call, Dandy. Max Coley sends in all the plays.
Then it would be hard to blame Charlie, wouldn't it?
That would be very hard to blame.
I can see you taking that position in that particular call.
Very legal.
Yeah. Well, he did have him pretty well covered that time. One of the worst mistakes an offense can make when you're behind a few points, you got a lot of activity going here, is to panic and start trying to get it back all of a sudden. He got another whole quarter to go.
Second down and 10. Gene Washington, number 84, is checked in, top of your screen. Johnson, not one of the great runners, and I don't know about that. He was close to the line of scrimmage, tried to dump it off to Floyd Little. Floyd Little says, huh, me?
Well, he was pretty well wide open that time. I imagine that through his 13 years of experience, he's learned that it's better to get it to Floyd Little than to carry it yourself. Floyd was out in front of him, and I think Floyd couldn't believe it either.
Ruled, incomplete forward pass. It'll be third down and 10.
Well, they've got a big third down play now, no question about it.
Indeed we do, Howard, and Simmons comes in. Top of your screen is one receiver. Johnson barking his signals from his own 20, firing it out. Almost one-handed there by Joe Dawkins, but he couldn't hold on. Incomplete.
Good rush by Bubba Smith that time. Forced the ball a little bit to the outside.
So they're going to have to punt. We've got a big one coming up throughout most of the country, a regional football weekend. But the big game, of course, Notre Dame against the University of Southern California. USC hasn't lost a single game in its last 23 outings. They live in the memory of Frank Gifford. Notre Dame hasn't beaten the Trojans since 1966, but Notre Dame is good, led by Tommy Clemens, Art Best, and Davy Casper. A big game this Saturday.
Okay, on fourth down, Billy Van Heusen will kick. Atkinson, as we told you, was injured, and he gets off a beauty that will be fielded by Tom Maxwell. Maxwell fielding the ball with a fair catch at his own 35, 45-yard punt by Billy Van Heusen. And I would have to say we have a very important set of downs coming up for Denver's defense. 13 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And the Denver defense is going to have to shut off those 5 and 6 and 8-yard pickups by the Oakland offense.
Well, what happened on that last touchdown drive by Oakland was that the Oakland offensive line came alive. They gave Stabler superb protection for his passes and opened up the holes for those short ones.
Hubbard, and the big fullback pounds out over the 40 to the 42, 7-yard pickup.
Just like that, cleaned out by Jim Otto and by that whole front offensive line. The likes of Upshaw, 63, and Beal is 64, and 78 Art Shell as the quarter ends.
You're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. That's the end of the third quarter with the score, Oakland 20, Denver 17. We'll return after this word from our stations.
Go Ask Alice, the Wednesday movie of the week at 8:30, 7:30 Central.
We begin the fourth quarter looking at some of the many beauties that inhabit the Colorado area. And Oakland now has a second down and 2. The ball at their own 43-yard line. They lead 20 to 17. Marv Hubbard. And Marv Hubbard goes down in the arms of Lyle Alzado, number 77. Gain of maybe a foot. Well, don't give them anything. It'll be third down, a long 2. And Bob Brown has been out since the second quarter. He hurt his leg last week against San Diego. Tried to play tonight. The 7-time All-Pro took himself out in the second quarter, and that position is being manned now by John Vella.
Some folks might call that holding. It depends on where you're from, of course.
Third down and 2. Big play for Oakland, a bigger play, much bigger play for Denver. Good scrambling by Charlie Smith, and he gets the first down on his own.
I'll say that was good scrambling by Charlie Smith. For a time it appeared that Denver had stopped. But they've got the first down. And when Denver failed to hold the ball for more than 3 downs and over after Oakland had scored to take the lead, Denver was in real trouble, because this Oakland team now seems to be putting it all together in that offensive line, as I mentioned earlier.
First and 10 for the Oakland Raiders. They can take a full game lead in the Western Division of the AFC. This is Stabler scrambling, trying to get it out to Mike Ciani. Did he catch it?
Everybody's in doubt.
Well, tell us, did he catch it?
He caught it. He caught it.
Complete. First down, 13-yard pickup.
We'll just show it to you here through the... Watch this move by Stabler as he goes around. The amazement of modern technology is going to show us here on split screen. The left-handed thrower, Kenny Stabler, to Mike Ciani. Watch Mike come back. His arms are down. The ball is in there. It is a completed pass and a first down for Oakland.
Again, working against little Calvin Jones. Ciani now 3 receptions, 116 yards. Of course, the big one from 80 yards out. First and 10 for Oakland. They're at Denver's 42. Marv Hubbard.
Oh, what a hit.
And he got popped, picked up maybe a yard. And Bill Lasky, number 45, and number 58, Tom Graham, were the defenders.
Good hit. Meanwhile, looking back to that catch by Ciani, who scored on the 80-yard touchdown pass play back in the second period for Oakland. This youngster out of Villanova reminds me in a curious way of George Sauer Jr., who was once a great wide receiver before he retired. Doesn't have the great speed, but he's always open, and he has superb hands.
Okay, second down and 10 from the 42. Cliff Branch is in, number 21, and Stabler is in a lot of trouble. He dumped it off in the general area of Bob Moore.
That was Paul Smith, number 70, that was back there again, Frank. He's dumped Stabler 5 times tonight. A week ago against Houston, it was 5 or 6 dumps again against Pastorini and Lynn Dickey. So this Paul Smith is coming of age, if that's one way to put it. He's put a lot of pressure on the passer tonight anyway.
And Denver is not giving up. They trail by 3, 12:04 remaining in the game. And now Kenny Stabler is in a tough spot. Third down, just a little less than 10 to go. He puts Cliff Branch out to the left. Biletnikoff out to the right. Humble has got it. If nothing else, it's going to be a 4th down. Oakland, they recovered. Charlie Smith, I believe, recovered the fumble.
Attempted draw play, Frank. It was not a good exchange. Stabler missed. The ball popped up in the air. And as you said, whether they covered it or not, it was still going to be 4th down.
Well, and more important, it put Oakland out of field goal range. Or I would suspect it did, and maybe they might try a field goal. No, Ray Guy's
back.
I'd like to see him kick for the coffin corner. They don't do that too much anymore, and I don't really understand why.
Ray Guy, the leading punter in the American Football Conference. And he kicked one up into the altitude. Ooh. High kick taken there, fair caught by Bill Thompson. 33 yards, but a beautiful punt, just what he wanted.
Absolutely right, Frank. Same thing as kicking it off to the corner.
Denver takes over, 11:17 remaining.
Injector shavers. Now your injector razor can give you a twin blade shave. Because now there's a Track 2 blade that fits injector razors. Track 2 twin injector blades. As the first edge shaves, it lifts the whisker so the second edge can shave it again. With closeness and safety never possible from injector shaving until Track 2 twin injector blades. New from Gillette. For the best injector shave of your life.
A good man can captain a ship. But now you realize it's a richer man who can captain respect. That's Augusta world worth finding and celebrating.
Once around life.
Benny Walker.
Here's to you, Captain. Once around living.
Good luck, Skipper.
Once around being.
In your boot, then.
Keep around six.
Here's to you. Good on you, Skipper.
3 weeks ago, Stabler took over from Darryl LaMonica. This we recorded a few moments ago on the sideline. Darryl LaMonica saying, come on, Kenny, let's keep it together. But right now, Denver has the football. We're in the 4th quarter, 11:17 remaining. Denver moving from their own 13-yard line. Dawkins gets the call. He gets perhaps 2 yards out to the 15. There is the defensive unit of the Denver Broncos, and, well, they have played fine football tonight. They have got to Stabler 5 different times. Number 79, Barney Chavis.
Alzado and Smith.
77, and Smith, as Don pointed out, have played really fine football this evening.
Smith, a 9th-round draft choice out of New Mexico back in '68, began to get recognition last year.
And this man, Charlie Johnson, directing traffic on 2nd down and 8. Here comes Floyd Little. And Little is met by number 26, Alonzo Thomas, coming up from his left corner spot where he replaced George Atkinson.
Well, Laren Jackson that time ran by Tony Klein, and that was the guy he needed to get down so Floyd could make his cut upfield. Floyd Little's had several 100-yard rushing days out here in Denver. You saw that time, he's 59. Here's Klein, number 84. Let's watch him as he goes. You can see the pursuit coming to the outside. You've got Laren Jackson, number 68. You saw pass him up. Good move from that right cornerback position. Willie Brown, 24, came up.
On 3rd and 7 from the 16.
Screen pass.
Just gets it off to Charlie Johnson.
Look at there.
Dawkins, good running, but he will just be able to battle back to the line of scrimmage. Stopped there by Willie Brown. And Tony Klein also coming over to help.
So in their last 2 series of downs, their last 2 offensive opportunities, the Broncos have had to go 3 downs and then over with the punt, which doesn't bode well for them. We have 9:23 remaining on the clock, the countdown continuing. Plenty of time, of course, but the Bronx are going to have to hold Oakland, get possession, and finally show some second-half offensive.
Tom Maxwell drops deep. This is Billy Van Heusen, Mamaroneck High School, Maryland. And he gets off a pretty good kick. Tom Maxwell drops the ball. That's the break they needed. Recovering, Ken Kreider. Ken Kreider getting down to make the recovery.
All right, there's that difference between a muff and a fumble, and Frank, you do that better than Howard or I, so go to it.
Well, you just cannot advance it. As simple as that.
He did not have possession of the ball. Is that right, Frank?
That is right.
Help me out. All right, let's watch it. Let's see if he did. The ball's coming down. Flip, plump, whoop. Nope, I believe he didn't. So therefore, you cannot advance that one, and that is.
Well, they got possession very, very quickly, much more quickly than they or anyone else expected. Now they've got their shot.
Biggest offensive play they had the second half.
8 minutes and 57 seconds remaining in the game, and Denver trailing 20-17. Floyd Little, and he runs into the big arms of Art Toms. Just maybe a couple of yards, and the crowd, I believe, would like to see Charlie Johnson put it in the air. But he knows what he's doing. He has got to maintain some stability by that front 4 of Oakland. And if he starts just throwing it on every play, well, they're going to run all over the place, as you well know, Don, and you just cannot get the protection you need. Kreider, who just made that very timely recovery. All right, 2nd down and 10. Ball remaining at the 38. In Washington, top of your screen, number 84. Here comes a reverse. Haven Moses. Oh, Haven. And Haven Moses running a lot of yards to pick up 2.
That's one of those things that might have been. Marv Montgomery, number 78, was the guy that tried to peel back. He's the left offensive tackle of Denver. Tried to peel back and give Moses a block coming around there. He missed him. That caused Moses to hesitate. He who hesitates is lost.
Charlie Johnson ran quickly over to have a chit-chat with head coach John Ralston. He goes back into the huddle. We know he'll have to put it in the air. 3rd down, a long 8, the ball resting at the 36. His receivers are Simmons, 80. He goes out to the right, far right, and Haven Moses. Now he puts Odoms, who is a fine receiver, splitting out to the left, ordinarily the tight end. And he does not. He comes with the draw play to Dawkins. He'll be short of the 1st down, and it'll be 4th down, 5-yard pickup.
Kind of an interesting offensive set there, Frank. You called it exactly right. He split everybody out, which certainly appeared to be a passing formation, but ran a quick trap back up the middle. And again, Howard's, look at this. Good hole up the middle. Good trap. Again, that was my buddy Maples. Maples couldn't quite get there.
Big Bubba Smith coming over there to add his considerable weight to the tackle. There's John Ralston, who made the decision to try and get the yardage to continue. But he was thinking, I know, in terms of the field goal.
Here's Howard's close personal friend kicking from the 37. That means it's a sure thing, right, Howard? Good tied up.
Tied up at 20.
Again, you were right.
Put him inside the 45-yard line. There's nobody more consistent in place kicking.
I'm delighted to know that.
Jim Turner. 43-yard field goal. As now he hit for 43 earlier, he now hit for 37. We'll be back where we have a fine football game here in Denver after this.
You will? Okay, I'll pick you up. I don't believe it!
When you get a date with Cleopatra, you better have a special chariot. Ford Grand Torino Brougham, restyled for 74 with split bench seats, deep cut pile carpeting, and a gleaming new front end. This Torino's got spirit, looks, and it's built solid. What more could you want?
You've got a solid car. Ford Torino is a solid car. Riding down the road in style, smooth and quiet by the mile.
The solid mid-size Ford Torino at your Ford dealers. The closer you look, the better we look.
Bob Hudson has dropped deep to take the kickoff at Jim Turner. He and Clarence Davis, who is also back there with him, have changed from time to time. Now watch them do this quickly. Now they hope that Jim Turner, as he walked back away from the ball, didn't see them change, will not see that Davis is on the left, because Turner would like to kick
Out of the
away
end
from
zone.
Davis. So what does he do? He just kicks the thing to the back of the end zone. So Bob Hudson touches it down. Oakland takes over, 1st and 10. 6:16 remaining in the game, is tied at 20.
There was another rap against Jim Turner when he was with the Jets. Held against him by the head coach. They said he couldn't kick off long enough. The other team was getting too good field position returning his kickoffs. So they got Bobby Halfield in the trade with Denver. And Jim Turner is really kicking. Maybe it's the air that's giving Jim more distance on the kickoffs. The light air here.
Now we're being held up by a couple of rather inconsiderate fans who ran out of the football field. And that's exactly what they are when they are depriving a lot of people from watching a football game. Now we'll go. Setbacks are Smith, 23, Hubbard, 44. This is Kenny Stabler. Flipping it out to Hubbard, and he took his eyes off it.
He sure did. He was looking downfield and let the ball go right away. And he did have some short yardage at the very least in front of him, John.
Yeah, I think so. He was pretty well covered, though, really. Ray May was in a fairly good position to come up from his linebacker position.
Dave Toma, a real-life cop, using wits and brains to fight crime. Toma, master of disguises. How about that? Tony Masanti stars as Toma Thursday night at 8, 7 Central, right here on ABC.
Out of sight.
2nd down and 10. Ball at the 20. 6:11 remaining in the game.
Look out.
Stabler, very cool, fires to Biletnikoff, and he balls it.
He took his eyes off. Look,
Well,
and he knows it. He's not happy with himself.
Yeah, it does happen. And I really don't blame him. He's made some great catches. It was really kind of interesting because, again, we had Paul Smith come in. He gave Stabler a pretty good scare when he went by. We're going to see Biletnikoff isolated here. Let's see what happens. The ball is thrown a little bit late. He's standing there on the sideline. He just didn't quite get a handle on it.
He's had some kind of night. He's caught 7 already for 96 yards. And chances are Kenny Stabler will come back to Biletnikoff because that's where they've been working against Randy Montgomery all night. 3rd down and 10 from the 20. Stabler running for his life. Lyle Alzado takes Stabler out of bounds. He'll be short of the 1st down. And Denver is going to get the football back.
And they may get it back with pretty good field position. I was getting ready to take a look at George Blanda because that's what Oakland would have wanted to do, get down to where they could let George do it. But now, the clock's below the 6-minute mark at 5:57 remaining in the game. Denver's going to want to get down to where Jim Turner can do it if they can't put the ball in for the touchdown.
All right, on to do the punting is Jim Turner. Charlie Greer, number 20, is dropped deep, along with number 36, Bill Thompson. This is Guy. And this time, Thompson did not call for the fair catch. 42-yard punt, a return of 8 yards, and Denver, good field position. They'll move from their own 38. We'll be back where the stadium is rocking here in Denver.
Hey, ever wonder if your money was safer in a commercial bank or in a savings and loan? When it's insured by an agency of the federal government, it's just as safe in both. So what's the difference? In a savings and loan, your money earns more. Your savings and loan wants you to know how money works.
Now, in the Zenith tradition of dependability and picture excellence comes a whole new television system. New Zenith solid-state Chromacolor 2 with a more powerful solid-state chassis, a unique voltage regulator to protect components, and an advanced Chromacolor picture tube. You get Zenith dependability and Zenith's best color picture yet. New Zenith solid-state Chromacolor 2. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on.
5 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the game. Denver first and 10.
The score tied 20 and 20, and I sure miss our regular director, Chet Forty, sidelined in St. Joseph's Hospital. Chet, I know you'll be back with us next week.
Yeah,
We're grateful that young Sedaris is with us, though.
I'm looking forward to Chet coming back. Actually, there's been several reports of attempted hijacks by stewardesses all over the country trying to get here to see Chet.
Okay, Dawkins pounds up the middle. He gets maybe 2 or 3 yards. Hit there by Gerald Irons.
You have any comment on Meredith's last remark, Frank?
I didn't even hear it. Gets very busy over on this side of the booth.
Andy Sedaris is here, and he's just informed me that SMU won once again. You realize we have 3 SMU folks on this telecast tonight? Bobby Goodrich,
Andy Sedaris, and Andy Don Merritt.
Jeff and Hazel's baby boy.
Second down and 8. The ball at the 41 of the Denver Broncos. And how they would like to move this football. All tied up at 20 apiece.
Look
Going
out
to Washington is almost picked off there by number 48, Nehemiah Wilson. Wow.
That one could have been trouble, could it, Frank? Because Nehemiah, he timed that one pretty well.
It had Oakland touchdown written all over it.
Gene Washington, we mentioned earlier, came to Denver in a trade. Was one of these guys that came out of the college ranks as one of those, they say he's a sure thing. He's going to make it. And he has played good football. I don't really think he has played as well as a lot of people have expected.
Okay, Washington's in there too, Don. He lines up the bottom of your screen. Now he splits out to the left on 3rd down and 8. The ball at the 41. Haven Moses is split right. Johnson, then he goes back right, and he's going to go down. Big Bubba Smith, number 77, getting help from Otis Sistrunk. First time that they've got to Charlie Johnson.
Frank.
It's the first time they've got to him.
Well, he doesn't really look like he's feeling too well right now, and he got a pretty good look. I think it was Sistrunk that, let's look at it again. Number 60 coming in here. Bubba's got him from one side. Man, there's no way. He got a really good shot there. Charlie has a lovely wife, Barbara. I visited with Barbara and Bobby Maple's wife, Sue. That's Bill and Bob Cody's wife from Winfield, 6 miles outside of Mount Vernon. And they really do like it here in Denver. They say the folks will treat them real nice. I hope Charlie's feeling fine.
All right, coming on to do the punting is Billy Van Heusen. Tom Maxwell, number 42, dropped feet for Oakland. Oh, good rush, but a beautiful kick by Van Heusen. Maxwell trying to get away from it.
If they get it before it goes in there.
Oh,
you
no.
missed it, man. That goes back to the 20.
72-yard punt, and Fran Lynch got down there, tried to bang it back into the field, but all for naught. Touchback.
All right, Frank.
He has to have possession there. He cannot bat it back onto the field.
Watch him. If he had just had grabbed that ball instead of trying to bat it back, that would have been Oakland's ball on about the 2 or 3. But if the ball goes ahead and rolls in, it's not dead until an official blows it dead. So they at least get it back out on the 20. They're still 80 yards away.
And it's still tied up at 20 apiece, 3:32 remaining. Charlie Smith, 23, Hubbard, 44, the setbacks. Oakland will try and get into field goal position. Goes to Charlie Smith, he holds on. And Tom Graham makes a stop after Smith avoids a couple of Denver Broncos, a gain of 17.
Good move by Stabler. Got pretty good pressure, moved out of the pocket, able to pick up Smith coming across the middle.
Right there is the guy. I said before we'd be looking at him. He's the guy who can decide the game if Stabler can get his club into field goal position. And he doesn't have that far to go to do it. Another couple of first downs will do it.
He's already kicked 2 tonight from 35 and 13. First and 10. The ball at the 37-yard line of Oakland. Marv Hubbard following Charlie Smith and gets away from one tackler, but he's finally dropped by Lyle Alzado. Gain of 5. Good pickup by Hubbard.
Here's a shot of Moore, Bob Moore. Didn't quite do the job.
Boy, that's good running.
It sure is.
Lasky had a good shot at him. He didn't quite do it. Had to get Lyle Alzado to come over.
All right, it'll be second down and 4. Gain of 6 for Hubbard. Banaszak is checked in, number 40. This is Clarence Davis. And Davis scrambles for the first down. He's out near to midfield. 2:33 remaining in this game. Oakland battling. They can take a full game lead in the Western Division of the AFC if they can win tonight.
You never know, but you do get the feeling about right now that we might get a chance to look at that fellow we were just looking at, George Blanda, because you see that clock ticking away. I got a feeling they're going to get into field goal position and give George a shot at it.
All right, Banaszak and Davis are the backs. Flag goes down.
Holding.
It could be holding. Good completion to Bob Moore, the tight end.
If it's not holding, they are already in that field goal position, but I think you're right.
Dean Upshaw, 63, and he's not at all happy about the call. But inevitably, as you've heard so many times in so many NFL games, when there's a flag thrown back in that area, it's going to be offensive holding. And so where they had established field goal position with the apparent completion, instead now the Raiders are back in trouble. And I think we're at about the 2-minute warning, Frank.
That we are. That 22-yard gain nullified, and again the holding called, as Howard mentioned, against Gene Upshaw. And we have moved to the 2-minute warning inside the 2-minute warning. So Oakland now has been moved all the way back to their own 35-yard line. There is part of this huge crowd that has been excited all week long. Coach John Madden on the sidelines conferring with Stabler.
The Dalton Trail in the dead of winter. A lonely, treacherous run for the Sears steel-belted radial snow tire. A tire made to handle the steep climbs and slippery curves. To stop you, even in deep snow. It's the best-performing snow tire we've ever offered. Try it on your own Dalton Trail. From radial design and 2 steel belts to the multi-angle tread pattern for deep, biting traction. The Sears steel-belted radial snow tire. Only at Sears.
Five cars, 5 dead batteries. But we're going to start all 5, all at once, with one battery. A 2-year-old Sears Die-Hard battery. The Die-Hard, with extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. It lives up to its name. Sold only at Sears.
A minute and 57 seconds remaining in the game from Denver. The score is tied. Oakland 20, Denver 20. In a fine football game. This is head coach John Madden talking to a former teammate of mine, Lee Miles, and now officiates in the NFL.
And if this game ends in a tie, you know that Kansas City and Oakland will then be in a flat-footed tie, 3-2-1 in the Western Division of the AFC. And Denver will be but a game behind. We've really enjoyed our first visit for Monday Night Football ever to this great mile-high city. The people have been extraordinarily kind and generous in their behavior toward all of us, and we want to thank Mayor McNichols for the great luncheon he gave in our honor today. We want to commend the whole town for its support of a football team that is good and growing.
And, of course, coming up next week, Buffalo and Kansas City. On 1st and 25, and down goes Stabler. Getting in there again, Paul Smith, and what a game he's played. The 6th time now that Stabler has gone down. 53 yards he's lost. And I'll bet you that John Madden is unhappy about that, and I would imagine that the managing and general partner, or whatever that title is, Al Davis, who is also here, he follows this game really close. I don't think he'd be happy with that either, Howard.
No, he couldn't be. He visited us in the booth just before the game started, and he told us, we're just not playing well.
Amazing what guys will do to get their name on national TV.
Second down and 31 for Kenny Stabler. Three-man rush now, you'll see from the Denver Broncos. And they're still pressuring. Whoa. Biletnikoff with a fine catch near midfield, taken down by Randy Montgomery and Tom Graham.
Stabler appears to be shaken up on that last play. He just got it off right before he was hit. He is still down. I don't know really what hurt.
He was hit by Paul Smith again.
Same guy. I mentioned earlier, Giff, that he was a 9th-round draft choice back in '68 out of New Mexico. At that time, the whole ball of wax in Denver was Rich Jackson, who may at that time have been the finest defensive end in football. Look at LaMonica warming up. In the event Stabler shaken up on the play, has to go out. But it was felt here in Denver a year ago that Paul Smith had arrived, that he'd begin to get the attention he deserved, that he was indeed one of the better defensive linemen in the league. And his play against a powerhouse Oakland team tonight, I think, bears out the validity of that notion.
And they are working now at the moment, it would appear, on Stabler's ankle. Now, Darryl LaMonica has not played in 2 full football games. He went out in the 4th quarter of the Kansas City game 3 weeks ago. Before that, he had not completed a touchdown pass in 2 games. And at no time during his career with the Oakland Raiders, 7 years, had he gone 2 full games without throwing a touchdown pass. Hence the move to Stabler. Now, Darryl LaMonica has warmed up. He was passing at a 46-point average when he was taken out of the lineup those 3 weeks ago. And Kenny Stabler, who has done a fine job, led the Raiders to 2 straight victories, has gone to the sidelines.
But Dandy Dunn, a former quarterback, what a place for LaMonica to come into. He comes in cold, 1:19 left. Got to get his team to field goal position. 3rd down, 11 yards to go. You can't pressurize a guy more. And there's George Flander waiting in the wing.
It's not really a bad spot, though, Howard, because Darryl has done it before, and it might be a good opportunity for him to get back in and do something super and get his starting job back.
He needs 7, 8, 10 yards, at least to get the field goal. He needs 11 for the first down.
That's one thing he can do.
Cliff Branch. And wait a minute, he lost the first down.
Oh, that's really unreal.
He ran backwards and lost the first down, but still he is within the range of George Blanda's toe.
Going to push it.
You don't expect to find that, very candidly, in the major leagues of professional football.
Covered in there by Ray
You've
May.
got to look at that yardstick. You've got your first down. Hang to it. What a costly error by Cliff Branch.
I think that's one of the hazards. You see the clock there is still taking one of the hazards of having great speed, as Cliff Branch does. You more or less operate under the illusion that you can utilize that speed and get away from anybody. That time you saw it didn't work, and you also see that George Blanda is out there. This field goal attempt will be from very close to the 50-yard line. He has kicked several of them from the 50 before. Let's see if he can do it tonight.
His longest of the year this year has been from 46 yards out. And again, we told you earlier that he went over the 300 mark tonight. He's kicked 301 field goals in his career. And if anyone can take pressure, this man can. Now, Howard, Don, we both watched him over the years.
But it's a long distance.
Under great pressure. Well, he may miss it, but I mean, he's not going to miss it with butterflies. I can assure you of that.
Good point. Good point. And LaMonica, I don't even know if they have finally decided that's what they're going to do or not.
Well, now Stabler is a holder.
Stabler is the holder.
I see.
And he is injured.
I see.
And he might come in to do the holding.
He is?
He is on the field. And he is an injured right ankle. All right, Blanda on the field, and they are going to set it up with 41 seconds showing on our clock.
Tell you what, this has been a good ball game. I've enjoyed it. 2020, we've seen both teams play well. It may or may not, well, it will be decided one way or another, I think, by this kick.
Plenty of distance.
How do you like that? George Blanda, through all of the years, one of the incredible artisans of victory.
And one of the great sights, Howard, is Kenny Stabler just being able to walk off the field. And a big part of kicking is the holder, and I've got to admire Stabler along with Blanda.
Well, it's been told so many times, the whole George Blanda career. And what a great moment, looking at him there, to go back to footage of this man throughout his whole long career. It all started in 1956 with the Chicago Bears. You see George Blanda there.
Blanda just getting that off, and that was the year that the Bears won they went to the championship and played our team, the New York Giants. Here he is a little later on, and he was really something special. Started back in 1949 with the Chicago Bears. Here he is again. Changed numbers over the years, as you can see. Out of Kentucky, great All-American. Missed a couple of years during his career, too. But here he is. He has just put the Raiders out in front, 23-20. And this kick by Ray Guy goes out of bounds. They'll kick it over. It'll cost him 5.
Kick off again from the 35.
Wow, what a way to wind up. And he's done this over and over. He did it right here in Denver. I believe it was 1967 with just a few seconds on the clock. And Denver thought they had defeated Oakland for the first time ever. And out trotted this man. I forget how long it was, but it was something very similar to that one. And at that time, there was no time showing on the clock.
You know what? That kick also went about 10 extra yards, which was kind of amazing. It was never any doubt that it was going to be long enough.
He got tremendous leg into it. And I want to commend our producer, Don Ohlmeyer, for having that old George Blanda footage ready for just such an occasion.
And Ray Guy kicks it out of bounds again. Now, if you think that he might be trying to run the clock down, well, he cannot do that because the clock does not start until the receiver touches the ball. So Ray Guy is just missing the ball.
That's another 5-yard penalty, isn't it?
It is that.
All right, now, what if he kicks this third one out? Is that still another 5-yard penalty, or do they get the ball back on about the 40 or something like that? Maybe I'm back to Mount Vernon on that. I should never get into rules.
Our very brilliant
5 and 5.
statistician says if it goes out again, it'll be 1st and 10 Denver at the 50.
One thing he's done, he's given them a lot better field position than they ordinarily would have got because he's now kicking from the 30-yard line. So we're going to get Howard's close friend, Mr. Turner,
You know, I've never
heck of a lot better, position to maybe kick another field goal.
And they have 3 timeouts. Charlie Johnson can move a lot of yardage, and he took a great risk of kicking that ball out again with that blooper. Here comes Joe Dawkins. And you'll see Denver with 30 seconds. The clock will stop as they bring the offensive unit onto the field. It'll begin with the snap of the ball. That's one of the new rules in the NFL this year. So they will not have to use one of their timeouts. And again, I will tell you, they have 3 remaining. 30 seconds on the clock. Blanda has put the Raiders out in front with a 49-yard field goal. The Raiders leading the Broncos 23-20. And it has been a good football game.
And if the Raiders hold their lead, they'll be 4 up and 2 down. They'll be a half game ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Denver retreats to a 2 up and 4 down, 1 and lost record.
Pete Duranko on the sidelines, former Notre Dame star. And that defensive unit for Denver has really played fine football. All right. Another thriller on Monday night. Right down to the wire. Johnson with good pass protection. This is Floyd Little. Inside the 50. Immediately time is called. 23 seconds remaining. Tony Klein got downfield to make the stop. And here you saw the man for a moment. Jim Turner, there he is. Now he has
old high boots.
His mind exactly what was going through the mind of George Blanda a short while ago. Charlie Johnson will come over and talk with John Ralston, who has done a terrific job in turning this Denver football team around. In 1971, they scored 18 touchdowns. Last year, they scored 38 touchdowns. And that was Ralston's first year after a great career at Stanford, and before that, Utah State. a matter of fact, I played against Don Ralston when he was at the University of California. How about that?
What a confession of advanced years.
He played behind a guy named Les Richter, so he didn't really see a lot of action.
But we get back looking at the scoreboard to our talk a couple of weeks ago about the abundance of field goals, Don.
That's right. And this one tonight, they can sure use one more.
Denver can, anyway.
Very succinctly put. There's Ralston. And what do you think, Charlie? And I'm sure, and he respects Charlie Johnson.
Yeah,
by the way, Charlie Johnson has a doctor's degree.
Yes.
In something I can't pronounce. Can you pronounce that, Howard?
Well, it relates to space engineering, doesn't it?
Something in the area.
If it doesn't, it ought to.
All right, Dr. Charlie Johnson working with 23 seconds. He has 2 timeouts remaining. Not a bad idea to come back with the same kind of a pass over the middle of one of his backs.
Got the same set, Frank.
This time, draw play, good call, Dawkins, good yardage. Look at him pound inside the 40 to the 38-yard line.
Well, now they've got the
timeout.
position. They got the position, Gipper.
First down, and immediately time is called. That play used 6 seconds.
They got time for another pass play, pick up another 6 or 7.
Now Jim Turner is saddling up on the sidelines. Turner is 2 of 3. One hit the crossbar from way outside, 52 yards. Howard said at the time that he couldn't kick that far, and indeed he couldn't. But he's hit from 43 and 37. We're playing Fight On for Old SC, which reminds me that Saturday it'll be USC and Notre Dame.
They're playing Fight On for USC, the great victory song of the Trojans, because Frank Gifford is in the booth. Don Ohlmeyer, our producer, is an alumnus of Notre Dame. He has demanded equal time. As we show you Joe Dawkins out of Wisconsin, acquired by trade, as we said earlier, from Houston, with a very important yardage gain for Denver.
The Raiders only had 3 defensive linemen that last play. They were trying to get people up in the secondary, expecting some sort of a pass. It was a good call. I'm sure it did come from the sideline. We saw Charlie talking to Ralston over there. So this is going to be a good one, too. What are you going to do, Charlie?
All right, Dr. Johnson looking over the defense. He has 1 timeout remaining. He'll have to use that to stop the clock. And he gives a draw play to Little this time. Little driving inside the 30. 9-yard gain.
Well, that's it. They got 9 seconds, 7. They got another timeout, and that's it.
Okay.
That's it, but Jim Turner has what he loves. Just the right position. Right in the middle. Almost the middle of the hash mark.
You know,
Right distance for him. It'll be about a 35-yard.
They did move it down, but you know those 2 kickoff attempts that were out of bounds moved that thing back and enabled them to get that ball up close to the 40-yard line. They just picked up a couple of first downs and kept that drive going.
You're exactly right. They got the field position they needed out of Ray Guy's failing kickoffs. Boy, how mistakes control a game, Frank. Huh? Billy Thompson beginning with the pickoff of the fumble, going 80 yards. And then Randy Montgomery, 21, failing to cover Siani and then falling down. And Oakland had an 80-yard touchdown. And you go back and forth in these games, and always mistakes are the key. It never changes.
Denver moved 34 yards in 3 plays, using all of their timeouts. Now we're looking at Turner, who will kick from the 35. He's hit from 43 and 37 already tonight. This to tie it up at 23. 7 seconds remaining, on its way.
There it is.
Boy, that's precious.
What a finish. That means Oakland and Kansas City are tied for the lead in the Western Division. That means Denver stays alive. Just 1 game off the pace. But this game is going to mean a lot more, I suspect, for the Denver Broncos. This town and these players have thirsted for national recognition. They got it tonight, and they've given a performance that lives up to the opportunity presented.
They've gone just a little bit crazy. There you see Jim Turner just a moment after he kicked the ball. Oh, look at that.
There go Bobby Maple.
Bobby Maple from Mount Vernon, Texas, the home of Jeff and Hazel.
That's J.D. and Justice, baby boy. Butch, his older brother, played pro ball too, incidentally.
You bet your bottom dollar Jim Turner wanted the people of New York to see this tonight.
This ball will be kicked, I'm sure, on the ground. It will not be kicked away unless Jim Turner has convinced John Ralston, he can kick it out of the end zone. As you see, Oakland dropping with the one safety man back. It'll be Clarence Davis. And I would imagine that Turner will drill it along the ground, hoping that a lineman will pick it up. And hoping, too, that there's no possibility. Well, there's still no way. Time will start as soon as an Oakland receiver touches it. Yes, right now, time has expired. It's over. Well, they'll take their tie here in Denver.
What's the old line? A tie is like kissing your sister. Not here, not tonight, not for the Denver Broncos. A tie for them tonight, for their fans, I think is something a little more than that.
I think it always depends on what your sister looks like, too.
That's an element.
You all are too much. We'll be back for a wrap-up, but again, the final score, Oakland 23, Denver 23.
Laura? Why, no, I haven't seen it.
Arrow has been making classic dress shirts for over a century.
Have you seen Laura? Sorry, old boy, I haven't seen her.
Our stripes have been colorful, but never flashy.
Laura?
No, but I'd like to be.
Laura hiding on you again?
While other styles have come and gone, Arrow has endured.
Laura? Laura? Where have you been? I've been looking all over for you.
Well, I was so bored.
Let's go for a walk.
All right. Okay.
Today, in the same tradition of quality and good taste, Arrow's making casual wear, sports shirts, sweaters, designed to go beautifully with all kinds of slacks and jackets.
Look what I found.
Colorful casual wear from the Colorful Shirt Company, Arrow.
Well, we've had our first tie ever on Monday Night Football. 23-23, Oakland and Denver. Next week, we move on to Buffalo. And a look at O.J. Simpson, who is tearing things up. Once again, the final score, Denver 23, Oakland 23. This is Frank Gifford, along with Howard Cosell. Our singer, Don Merritt, saying so long from Mile High Stadium in beautiful Denver, Colorado.
It's over.
Air travel arranged through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. Chosen for travel by more sports teams than any other airline. The proceeding was a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
No question about that.
Put it on the line.
Singing star John Denver makes his debut as a dramatic actor in the emotion-charged role of a young man accused of the mercy killing of his mother. Watch Owen Marshall, Counselor at Law, Wednesday night at 10, 9 Central on ABC.